Ahora pienso en español. I think in Spanish now. But this isn't how it always was. And so in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I, not being able to speak nor think in Spanish, to then 90 days later being able to think and speak Spanish and be conversationally fluent. If you don't know me, my name is Hami and I'm fluent in 4 languages, and I got fluent in Spanish in 120 hours of studying at 13 years old. And now I help obsessed Spanish learners like yourself reach conversational fluency using my simple methods. Here's my quick before and after. So this is before the 90 days and after the 90 days.
Podré para mejorar mi español cuando no tengo mucho tiempo libre para estudiar español.
And so here are the 4 things we're going to go through in this video. We're going to talk about the narrative library contemplate framework. And then we're going to talk about exactly how to implement this. The step-by-step, how do you implement this that I implemented? So to give you my backstory, so I'm 16 now, but 3 years ago, during the summer of 2022, that was the 90-day period that I dedicated to learning Spanish. And I'd made a bet with my friends and with everyone around me that I would become fluent in Spanish. And if I didn't, or technically I didn't put any money on it, so it's on a bet, but I told everyone I would become fluent. And so prior to then, like you heard, my Spanish wasn't great, and I had done around 30 hours of studying. And after then, I'd done 120, because I did around 1 hour a day for 90 days, okay? So 120 hours. And after that, I was able to be conversationally fluent and speak Spanish fluently, but also I was able to start thinking in Spanish, okay? And I've realized this a lot, more and more, that a lot of people will have this struggle with thinking in Spanish. And I always thought, like, what are you guys talking about? Like, just think in Spanish. Like, if you're able to speak it, why can't you think it? And I now realize the reason for that. And it's what I like to call the 3 W's. And it's relevant when it comes to grammar specifically, okay? Which is what most people find very excruciating when it comes to language learning, and specifically Spanish. And the reason is because they don't do this. So the 3 W's are the what, the where, and the why. And I'll elaborate on this a little. So in any Spanish sentence, there are 2 parts. There's always what the words are and where the words are placed. So the order of the words. And so those are the 2 necessities. If you don't have those, you don't have a Spanish sentence. And so most people memorize the what and the where. And that is where the issue lies, okay? Because when you're trying to think in Spanish, if you just have the what and the where, then there's not much to think about because you just blurred out a given sentence that has been memorized. And so think, for example, ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Everyone knows the what and the where. Everyone knows that it's ¿Cómo? And then estás. Everyone knows the order of those words and what the words are. But the reason they struggle with grammar and thinking in Spanish is because they don't understand the why. Basically, the reason why people don't understand, people aren't able to think in Spanish is because they haven't truly understood grammar. So understanding the why is crucial. Why is it ¿Cómo estás? How did you reach that sentence? Because here's why it's important. When you understand why certain things happen in Spanish, then it makes more sense. And when it makes more sense, you not only remember it better, but you're able to replicate it. It's a repeatable framework. The why is kind of like the logic behind the sentences, the logic behind the what and the where, okay? If you were to try to build a building, would you rather have the blueprint for building the building or not? The blueprint is kind of like the logic and the reasoning and the why behind building the building, right? Whereas if you didn't have a blueprint, you will probably struggle with building that building, right? You might get a few bricks in place, but you're not going to get the whole building. Whereas the person who has the blueprint will. And that is why the why is so important in Spanish grammar and basically just Spanish in general. And the reason why I didn't struggle with this a lot is, well, technically in the beginning I did. When I was doing Duolingo and all these methods that required memorization, I was struggling with thinking in Spanish because I didn't have anything to go off of. I didn't have any blueprint. And that was until I discovered an app called Language Transfer, which in its name, the goal was to transfer the logic that you had in English to Spanish. And so it was all about finding a common logic, a way of thinking. And that's actually what language is all about. Language is not about memorizing a few phrases and then just blurting them out. Language is actually about learning the code, the logic. In fact, that's why they call like Python programming languages, right? Technically, it's not like a language, but the reason why they call it a language is because it's like a new way of thinking, right? You write code in a specific like logic, a specific framework. And just like with Spanish, you construct sentences with a specific logic, a specific framework. And that's why learning the why is so important. Because it is much more advantageous to understand the rule and a concept than it is to memorize. And the quick example I'll give of this is, I remember I had a test on like balancing equations. And so what I did was I memorized on Quizlet 5 or 6 different examples. And then when the teacher, like she saw I memorized those examples, so then she gave me an example that uses the same concept, but not the same, like it's a different looking equation. And I wasn't able to do it because I didn't understand fundamental concepts of balancing equations. And so it's the example there, right? Would you rather have programmer A who has just memorized things, or programmer B who understands the logic behind those very similar things? B. Because programmer B actually is able to apply the concept in a million different variations. And so when trying to think in Spanish, it all comes down to having an understanding of why things happen. Because if we have a sentence, for example, here, there are millions of different variations and like color palettes of that sentence, okay? And this yellow part, let's say, is like the color palette, right? Basically the yellow part is representing the different variations, and the red is representing the core concept. Most people just have this. They don't have the core concept, okay? But when you have the core concept, no matter what shade this yellow is, it will always be a correct sentence because you have the logic, you have the why, okay? So a practical example of this I'll give you is, for example, that in Spanish, words that end in "ly" become mente, okay? The word and then mente. So normally becomes normalmente, okay? Now, if you just learned that one word, this is what you have right here, okay? If you just learned normalmente with no other context, you are here. But if you learned the logic that, okay, words that end in "ly" become mente, then you know that formally becomes formalmente. You know that informally becomes informalmente. You know that personally becomes personalmente, etc. And so you have a lot more points or variations of sentences. And when you're thinking in Spanish, your brain isn't thinking about one specific sentence. What it's doing is it's finding what it wants to say, and then it's choosing one variation of saying it. It will choose one of these paths. Okay, your brain doesn't just say one specific thing. If I was trying to respond to the question, how are you? You're not always going to respond, bien, y tú? Because in your brain, in your English brain, you're not just thinking, yeah, good, and you? Sometimes you'd want to say, it's all right. I'm hanging on there. I'm staying afloat. You see how there's several ways there. And there's a fundamental set of logic, whys, a fundamental framework behind every single one of those variations. And that's how someone thinks in a language. Whereas someone who just has a set phrase there and no logic will have bien y tú, or will have, for example, excelente. But they just have those memorized. They won't have the millions of variations that come with understanding it. And so using this concept, during that summer, I did an exercise for me to start thinking in Spanish. And it's called narrate, elaborate, and contemplate. Okay? So the goal of this exercise is to get better at speaking Spanish and also get better at thinking in Spanish, because fundamentally, speaking and thinking are directly correlated. To get better at speaking is basically just your mouth expressing your brain. Okay, and thinking is what's expressed in your brain. And so getting better at speaking is kind of like a bang for your buck, because when you're speaking, you're also thinking in Spanish. But when you're thinking in Spanish, you're not speaking Spanish, right? And so if you want to get better at speaking Spanish, then there's a framework to follow. And I like to call it the SIR ladder, okay, SIR. And it's because to get better at something, I had this simple concept. When I was watching YouTubers that got fluent extremely quickly, they all followed a very similar idea, which is just they wanted to get better at a certain skill, so they practiced that skill, right? And it made total sense. If someone wants to get better at swimming, they would probably jump in the water and start swimming, right? And so applying this concept to my goal of making an exercise to get better at speaking Spanish, it would be speak Spanish, and when I don't know how to say something in Spanish, then understand how to say something, and then repeat those steps. So let's say I didn't know how to say a certain thing, then I would translate it, find out how to say it, and then I'll say it, right? And we're going to get into exactly how to do these steps, okay? Now, I do these through an exercise I like to call narrate, elaborate, contemplate. And so there are millions of different ways to do this, because there are millions of different ways to go through this process. I do it through this way, personally. The reason why I do it this way is because the goal is always conversational fluency, in my opinion, my niche. I'm teaching conversational fluency. And so this framework emulates a conversation, because every single conversation starts with a narration, and then someone's going to ask for you to elaborate, and then someone's going to contemplate on your narration. So it emulates a conversation, and thus you're like practicing the thing that you're going to do in the future. And so when speaking, I follow this framework of narrate, elaborate, contemplate. So to narrate something is to tell a story, or to report a recent event, or to commentate, or to give your opinion, okay? So I'll simply do that, okay? Next, I'll elaborate on my narration. So to elaborate is to give details. So I'll give details on my story, give details on my report, give details on my opinion or my commentary. And then finally, there's contemplate. And to contemplate is to question, to ask why. So it's to question your story, its authenticity, the characters. You'd want to maybe question the report or the recent event. You might want to question the commentary, your own opinion, okay? And what I find is each of these are varying levels of speaking Spanish, right? Or in this case, also thinking in Spanish. Because a narration is like something happened. Elaboration is something happened because. And contemplation is why did something happen. And so you can see that the more we go to contemplation, the more complicated the answer will get. And obviously, all of these can be complicated, right? It depends on context and it depends on what you're narrating. But it all fundamentally comes down to your narration. The next step is to understand, and the way I understand is simply using DeepL to understand the logic. So DeepL is a translator. So what I'll do is I'll go on DeepL, and then I'll use basically different grammar sources. So for example, I'll tell my clients to use my fundamentals course where I teach the logic behind Spanish. Or for example, I use the language transfer, which taught me that. And for example, SpanishDictionary.com. There's many different ways, but just understanding the why behind that sentence. And then go back to saying the thing that I now know how to say. And then this time I should be much more fluent in saying that. And so this exercise is advantageous because it can be done 24/7 in your head. And that is what I did during the summer. During that summer, those 90 days when I was studying 1 hour a day, I'll do an exercise called transcript training, which is my vocabulary exercise, which I talk about in other videos. And then on the side, what I'll do is I'd narrate my entire life. I'd go through the narrate, elaborate, contemplate framework, so just in my day-to-day life. So I saw this from a YouTuber named Shauma. He did a challenge where he would speak Spanish for 24 hours. And what I'd do is I would make a smoothie, and then I was like, I am making how do you say smoothie? And then I would, find out how to say smoothie, and then I'd say smoothie. So you see, I'm going through sir. I'd speak, and then I didn't know how to say something, so then I found out how to say smoothie, so then I understood, and then I went back to speaking, so I repeated, okay? And so now let's talk about implementation, okay? Exactly what I just told you there is how I implemented it. So as a step-by-step framework, this is how I would go through it, okay? Firstly, we're going to narrate, elaborate, and contemplate. And you can do this while thinking, but it's actually better to do it while speaking because when you're speaking, you're also thinking. So it's a bigger bang for your buck, but sometimes you can't speak out loud, of course. Then we will understand and specifically understand why, okay? And then thirdly, we're going to repeat, okay? Now, like everything else in life, repetition, when it comes to a skill, repetition is always key, okay? So doing this step is actually the most important. Humans learn by practicing many times. However, we always want to practice the thing that has more leverage, okay? Because quality is better than quantity, but quantity always wins, okay? Basically meaning, even though these two steps are high quality and you'll get big bang for your buck, you only get bigger bang for your buck when you repeat them enough. So just like everything in life and in any skill, quantity always wins. Obviously, quality is still better than quantity, but we always want to have both quality and quantity. Lots of good things is better than just good things. And just good things is better than a lot of bad things. So this is that framework. And using this practice, I'll show you a quick transformation of one of my clients that I had.
Hola, me llamo Adi. Yo tengo 15 años. Quiero aprender español.
So you can see there.
Aprender más. Hola, me llamo.
And here's our first call.
Hola, me llamo Adi. Tengo 15 años. Vivo en Holanda.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Pues lo primero, me llamo Eduardo, pues y tengo 15 años. Toda la gente tenía los diferentes vocabularios. Pues para mí me gusta jugar el Rocket League para aprender español, así que ya lo sé las palabras del Rocket League. Me gusta ir al gimnasio, lo sé las palabras.
And so there you can see he's now been able to speak fluently. And according to AI analysis, using these methods, he was able to save between 200 to 350 hours compared to the average learner. But at the same time, other people have done this method and they haven't gone fluent. And that's because he's repeated it enough. And so because he did a lot of quantity of good quality, he was able to get fluent and save time. So quality saves time, but you won't get anything if you don't repeat it enough. And that's just the point I wanted to drive home. So now let's talk about that free gift that I was talking about. So you can check the description to grab my free, easy-to-use Cognate cheat sheet where you'll be able to instantly unlock thousands of Spanish words And there's no email needed, you don't need to opt in, it's just free and yours instantly, and it's just my thank you for reaching the end of this video. These videos are just small pieces from my program, and so if you want to implement these frameworks and finally start learning Spanish in a clear and structured way, link is in the description. But I recommend acting as soon as possible because the price may increase depending on demand, so check the description to join now. Otherwise, if you have any questions, you can also check the description to add me on Discord and just ask me any questions if you have them. Otherwise, I would really appreciate if you shared this video with someone who you think would benefit, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed and stay humble.